Thank you. The Honourable John Ruddock.
Madam Deputy President, I rise in solidarity with the Labor Party left, or at least those members on the Labor left who haven't abandoned their anti-militaristic instincts in exchange for some union jobs in Adelaide. On this subject, I think I also stand with the Greens, but they too have been disappointingly quiet at this moment. I do unashamedly stand with Paul Keating and urge this nation to reflect on what we could be sleepwalking into: superpower conflict in the Asia-Pacific. Such a conflict would make Australia the equivalent of Sicily in the Punic Wars, the meat in the superpower sandwich which gets pulverised. The AUKUS agreement is extraordinarily expensive, $366 billion, but we all know how government projects have a nasty habit of being over budget. But that money would be well spent if it prevented war. I fear it increases the chances of war in the Asia-Pacific. There is a tendency of many who think themselves well-informed to interpret all geopolitical issues through the lens of what Germany did in the 1930s. These geniuses have done more than watch Hollywood. They've also read Wikipedia and watched the History Channel. But why should we give such supremacy in our strategic thinking to an extraordinarily unusual episode in history? There are endless other lessons from history in which we can learn. The first is that peace between nations is the norm of history. War is a rare and terrible aberration. While we hear an excessive amount about the lessons of the origins of World War II, we never hear about the woeful errors leading up to World War I, which I fear we are now repeating. In the 2 decades before 1914, arguably the most pointless war in history, European politics was dominated by 2 things: endless arms build-up and military alliances. Then all we needed was a July 1914 succession of freak events and the world was at war over nothing, 20 million dead. America's engagement with the Asia-Pacific is and always will be optional. Australia's engagement with the Asia-Pacific is obviously permanent. How many military entanglements can we have with another nation? We have ANZUS, the Quad, the Five Eyes, and now AUKUS. Australia has evolved into being America's deputy sheriff in the Asia-Pacific. Now that would be of benefit if we knew America would be committed for centuries, but what if America opts to disengage from the Asia-Pacific? That looks unlikely now, but good foreign policy thinkers think in terms of decades and centuries. What if one day America has a sharp turn to the populist left or the isolationist right? What if America declines significantly, and given the outrageous persecution of the Republican Party frontrunner, decline cannot be ruled out? If America recedes from this part of the world, we'll be the deputy sheriff with no sheriff in town. Now, this is not an anti-American statement. My political party, the Liberal Democrats, reveres the American founding fathers more than any other party. George Washington, in his farewell address, warned of the dangers of foreign entanglements, and President Eisenhower warned of the military-industrial complex dominating American foreign policy. American foreign policy in the 20th century was, on balance, noble, and it made the world a far more peaceful place. Thank you, America. But in the 21st century, we have had 4 American-led, or should I say neocon-led wars that were catastrophic. I fear the Ukraine war is becoming a 5th. 5 bad wars on the trot, but regardless, our political leaders unthinkingly sign up for more and more entanglement. There is a better way. Australia is a proudly Western nation and our geography is permanently Asia-Pacific. Australia has a profoundly good mission to fulfil, to ease superpower tension in the Asia-Pacific. We're friends with Asia and we're family with America. Christ taught us, blessed are the peacemakers. This is Australia's role in the Asia-Pacific, not being the Deputy Sheriff.
Thank you.